I had such a wonderful corporate job. I was leading a great sales team. I was very successful together with them, and I got to travel all over Asia Pacific. On the outside, everything was perfect. It was just that on the inside, I was feeling drained and tired. It was because my values felt unaligned. This is the Grow Your Leadership podcast, where we believe that when we grow our leadership, we grow our world. A few years ago, I was invited to speak to a group of leaders in Sri Lanka. I loved every single moment of my trip there because I saw how the participants took the tools that they learned in our session and then implemented them in their lives. I got to see the transformation and the joy and the fulfillment that came from it. Shortly after, I went on a business trip on my corporate job, and the opposite was true. I was feeling empty, unfulfilled, drained. Here, in my corporate job, I was focusing on driving performance and numbers, whereas what made me feel fulfilled was growing people. Ever since then, I have learned 3 ways to fill up our fulfillment tank. The first one, understand what you truly value. What do you truly value? In my corporate job, there was a time when I had to onboard a new team member. She came from a different industry, a different background, and everything was new to her. I took great joy in onboarding her, getting creative about her growth process, and empowering her to grow from a newbie to a high performer in just a few months. It was an amazing process for me to watch, and I was really proud of her and felt very fulfilled. It was such a joy to see her grow. Growing people is one of my core values. What do you value? Once you understand your value, you go to step number 2. See where you stand with your value. Where do you stand with your value? Even though I was performing very well and I was highly successful on the outside, my fulfillment level was somewhere at a 3 or 4 out of 10. And it took me a long time to admit that. Because once we admit that we are not fulfilled, we have to bring change. Otherwise, we just complain about it. And that's the third step. Own your values. Own your values. I did not own my values until I submitted my resignation. That was a very special day, and I thought, now I'm going to be super fulfilled. Little did I know that just 2 weeks after I submitted my resignation, COVID hit and the world went into lockdown. Suddenly, my entire life seemed extremely uncertain. What was I going to do? And most of all, who in their right frame of mind would leave their safe corporate job in the eve of a global pandemic? Who would do that? You know, looking back, it was the best decision of my life. Because today, I get to grow people every single day. It is a lifestyle for me. I get to witness transformations as people have a real massive impact in their worlds. I get to work with leaders from all over the world. And whereas before it was a one-off event, now it's something that happens every day, and I get to witness it every single day. Now, it took a lot of courage to own my values. And once you start owning your values, you will step out of your comfort zone, because that's where the magic happens. You can't own your values and stay in your comfort zone at the same time. And your life is way too precious to live it on an empty fulfillment tank. What are values? Values are everything that makes your heart smile. How do we own our values? We first need to understand what those values are, see where we stand with those values, and then have the courage to own them.